Okay. So guys, we have talked about the yamas, the first limb of the 8 limbs of yoga. We went through the 5 yamas over the last 2 weeks. And now we're in the niyamas. So the niyamas are the second branch of the 8, or second limb of the 8 branches of yoga, second 8 limbs of yoga. And there's 5 branches. Think of it as a tree. And today we're on the second one. So the second niyama, which is the second limb of the 8 limbs of yoga. I got it right that time. And it's Santosha. And Santosha is one of my favorite principles. And it means contentment. And it's not so much of saying be content and complacent and not strive to be better, or not strive to do more or make a bigger impact. It more means being content with who you are and in the moment and with the experience that you're having. It can sound a little confusing because, we're working through the 8 limbs to be these better versions of ourselves, to be these better humans. And then I'm telling you to be content with who you are and don't try to change anything. So there's a little bit of contradictory there, but look at it as just being grateful and happy and joyful with who you are in this exact moment, in this, experience that you're having. And if things come up that are challenging, or there's things that you recognize that you're like, I want to do or be better in these areas, then acknowledge that and work on that, but still be content with who you are right now. So don't be so hard on yourself. And we talk so much about this in class with me. It is so important to me. And I can only teach and speak from experience, because I am still hard on myself, but I used to be so hard on myself. It was almost crippling and really just unhappy, like internally unhappy. Externally, everything seemed great, but internally unhappy. And then when I learned about Santosha and actually started to apply it to my life, to be content, and then to make the appropriate changes that I wanted to make to be better for myself, not to make more money, not to have a bigger home, not to have flashy things, but better for myself. Things really started to shift and change for me. And that's why I teach it so much, of speaking to yourself kindly, being grateful, being in the moment and not living in the past, or thinking so much about what's going to happen next in your day. So Santosha is one of those things that applies, everything that we've talked about applies across your whole life. And today in our practice, try and be content with where you are in your practice. If the pose is challenging, honor that. Accept, acknowledge that you are faced with challenge in that moment. And instead of being really hard on yourself, take another option. Do something that's a little bit more safe for your body. When you are off of the mat, just sit and contemplate your life. Think about all of the things that you are grateful for, all of the opportunities you've been afforded, all of the luxuries that you have. And instead of striving or desiring more of external, be grateful for what you have and see how that shifts things internally. So Santosha, it's one of my favorite topics in the limbs of yoga, because I think it is the most impactful. Well, they're all impactful, but this one personally was really impactful for me. So again, as we move through the practice today, do so with love and gratitude and contentment for where you are today. Even if the pose today looks different than it did yesterday, be content with that and celebrate that. When you're ready, go ahead and make your way to your mat.